In this video, we're just going to make some very quick little miniature Christmas presents to go under a tree, a fondant tree. I'll put a link to the fondant tree up if you haven't seen it. Now, I've got fondant mixed with a little bit of flour and modelling paste here, just to make it a little bit stiffer. So I've just dyed it pink, but you can have whatever colour you like. So mine's cracking a little bit. So I'm just going to add a little bit of Trex. You might know it as shortening, and it's just vegetable fat. I'm going to mix in to stop it drying and cracking as much. Hopefully it should bring it round a little bit. I think it's because I've been playing with it in my hands for that long before I put the camera on that I've made it dry out a bit. Okay, so all I do is start with a bit of a chunk that I'll make into a bit of a box shape. I'll flatten it on the top by rolling it a little bit. And then I'm going to cut a square out the middle. In fact, it doesn't even have to be a square, you could have a rectangle, whatever shape you fancy. And I'm hopefully not doing these so small that you can't actually see them. So they are going to be very basic, these presents, so that's our basic present shape to start with. And what we're going to do is I'm going to turn it upside down so I've got my sharper edges on the top. And we're just going to add some little polka dots. And I'm just going to use white as my other colour now. This is just the flour and modelling paste that I've got here. Because I thought if we're rolling really small bits, it'll be quite fiddly. And sometimes the normal fondant just gets a little bit sticky and it's a bit tricky to use. So we're literally just going to take really tiny balls like that. I'm just going to squash it down a little bit on my mat. And I'm just going to take a small brush and with a little bit of water, just put a dot on there and then try pushing that on there if it comes off my finger. So they're not perfect circles, but I haven't got a cutter this small. You can use the end of a piping nozzle if you want to, for cutting out really small little dots, although I still find that a little bit fiddly. So I think it's just as quick to roll them by hand. But have a play around, see which way you find easiest. So just put them on willy-nilly. Trying not to make it look too much like a dice, although mine does look like a dice at the moment. Okay, so I've put a few dots around the sides. I haven't put loads at the top, but we're going to put a little top piece around as if it's a hat box or a box lid even. So taking a bit of the colour of your present, I'm just going to put a bit of corn flour on my work surface. I'm just going to roll it out. What I'm going to do is I cut a little strip which we'll put along the edge of the box. So it's up to you how deep you want the box lid to be. Try and get it a similar level. You can measure it out if you want. I tend to just guess a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit of water on the top and sides of my box, and I'll do the back bit when I get round to the back. So we'll start here. Make sure it's level with the top of your box here. You don't want it higher or lower. Okay, and then we're just going to push it down the sides. And then I'll wrap it around the back. So a little bit of water on the top of the back. And push that round, and then what I'll do is where it comes to meet just there, I'll just cut that. It's come away a little bit, so we'll push that back down. So it's starting to look a little bit more box-like. If you want to put polka dots on the lid, you can do. Or you can leave them off, it's entirely up to you. And then what we'll do is we'll put a bit of a bow around our box. So we'll start by rolling some long pieces of this, of our white, or any colour that you fancy. And these make ideal little sort of toppers for cupcakes, with them only being quite small. And you don't have to put bows on them, you can literally just do little sort of box shapes with stripes and polka dots on. or just different colours. You don't even need to pattern them really. Okay, so I've cut another strip, again whatever width you fancy. I'm going to put a little bit of water down the centre, the middle and down the front, and I'll move it to the back as well shortly. I'm just going to cut a little straight edge on the edge of there, and we're going to match that up with the bottom, if I can get it to stick on there, like so. Bring it round, and then I'll bring it around the back as well. I'm trying not to show you the back because I haven't bothered putting polka dots on the back, but there you go, you'll see that I was too lazy to put polka dots on the back of my box. Obviously, if the back of your box is going to be seen, do put polka dots on it. Okay, just make sure it hasn't slipped from the front, or you can tuck it under if you prefer. And then using the rest, just check it's going to be long enough to go the other way. And again, exactly the same again, bit of water, or use edible glue if you prefer. I've always just found water worked okay for me, so just use what you find best. So we're going to lay that over, and again we'll trim it at either side where it meets the edge. Obviously the bigger you do them, they become a little bit easier because it's not as fiddly with the small little bits and pieces. When they're this size, things start getting a little bit fiddly to roll. Now there's a couple of different ways you can do your bows. You can do it by rolling a couple of triangles, quite chunky triangles like that, and then just putting the bottom of your paintbrush in to create kind of little bow bit. Or we can roll it the same way we've rolled that to create a bow. I'm just going to go with this way for today. You can also get little bow moulds which make it a little bit easier if you don't like doing them by hand. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just put these on the top of my box. I'm going to put them at a slight slant so the bow's kind of standing up. One side's a little bit bigger than the other, but I'm not too worried about that. If you want, I've forgotten what the bits are called that come off the bottom of bows, I'm sure somebody will tell me. Then you can put those on. Again, just roll a nice thin bit and just cut a strip off. I'm going to cut it a slight slant. Or if you prefer, you can cut just a little V out the bottom, whichever you prefer. We'll do V's now, I've done it on that one. Okay, I'm just going to pinch the ribbon at the top, and I'm just going to put that on. In fact, what I'll do is I'll lift that up and put it underneath there, like so. I think my hands will just be in the way, won't they? If you've seen what I'm doing. The other one on there. And for the centre of the bow, we're just going to roll a little round piece that we're just going to stick on there like so. And you can just make lots of them with different patterns, so they are reasonably easy to do. Obviously, depending on how many you're doing, it could take you a little while, so you might want to do them without patterns if you're doing lots. Okay, but please do have a look at my other videos where you'll see like the other Christmas ideas that they can go on cakes with. Thank you for watching.
If you liked this video and would like to see more, please click on the images of the other videos suggested. Also, please do subscribe to my channel using the button at the bottom right hand corner of the screen. You can also visit my cake website and my Facebook page to see more cakes and ideas.